Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Canada We Want National Showcase 2024. My name is Florence. I'm an Associate Director at the Students' Commission of Canada.
And my name is James Dunn, two-time Paralympic silver medalist. We're honored. Thank you. We are honored to be your hosts for this inspiring gathering where youth representatives from each team will present their innovative solutions and recommendations on the Canada they want. As we gather here today, we are reminded of the incredible potential and power of the youth we work with. This past week, young leaders from across Canada have engaged in thought-provoking discussions, collaborated on solutions, and demonstrated an unwavering dedication to creating positive change in their communities. Their passion, creativity, and determination have been truly remarkable. Please remember this is a full-day event, and we encourage you all to stay until the end. Before we get started, we want to acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. It is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. This hashtag Canada We Want youth movement is supported by an Elders Council who work intergenerationally to put their ideas into action. We are now inviting representatives from the council to open our showcase in a good way.
Nyawagoa. So, Sego Sewa Goigo, Skunagoaga, Kathy Brandt, Yungyuks, Waxkarewage, Gyungahaga, Gandage. So I just said I'm Grandmother Kathy Brandt from Tyendinaga Mohawk Territory. And in that territory, we have a longhouse for ceremony, and I sit with the Bear Clan. And my people tell me that the Bear Clan are the medicine people. So as the medicine today, I bring the medicine of love. And also, I'm bringing our Thanksgiving address, or the words before all else. And so I always ask that you just be mindful and be present as you're listening to these words. And I also give the teaching that we always thank the people first, because we are the most vulnerable. Creation can get along just fine without us, but without creation, we would cease to exist. And therefore, we need to be humble. It is our main responsibility to the natural world and to Creator, for it's integral part in how we as humans support that web of creation. So that means that we need to develop those relationships so that we can learn to love each other, and then we love the earth will love us back, and we can all make those difficult decisions around climate crisis, which we're living in right now. So I begin. Today we gather our hearts and minds together, and we offer these greetings and thanks for the people. We have been given the duty to live in balance and harmony with each other and all living things. And we are grateful that there is still so much love in the world. And now our minds are one. And now we gather our hearts and minds together, and we offer our greetings and thanks to all the things upon the earth, all those green and growing things, the medicines, foods, plants and trees, and the shrubs and grasses, and also the waters and the life within the waters. And we also thank our relatives, the animals, and now the insects that are soon to be waking up. And now our minds are one. When now we gather our hearts and minds together and offer greetings and thanks to all the things in the sky, the birds that sing their beautiful songs, the winds that come from the four directions, our elder brother, the sun, who's shining wonderfully today, our grandmother, the moon, and our grandfathers, the thunderers, and the stars in the heavens, and now our minds are one. And now we gather our hearts and minds together and offer our most choice greetings and thanks to Singuya Diso, creator of all things, and now our minds are one. And this is where I ask that if there is anything that I have forgotten, that you give such greetings and thanks in your own way. And now our minds are one. So now we'll go a thank you. Skana, I wish you all peace. You are all my relatives. Nyawa.
Anine, bonjour. Can I get everybody to stand, please? Gizimona to kamikish na kaz ming anecdote. Nawete se magimene gowat nawete. No guichuat nawete batina gowat nawete nich kwesi mishikoma binigesh no ma. And that means that tobacco has been given here for all of our families here. This is our family. And we asked Creator to look down and help us out here today. And thank you for those men that sang at the drum here today. Miigwech, give them a round of applause, please. Nawete wapski washkineshis nawete matbut shagugnung nawete mishkiki nawete geminigawat. And that white deer, he brought some sage here for everybody here as well. But I don't think we can use it in this building here today. And we ask the white gwechim na wete wapski bichukwe na wete matibit na pi weting wingish na wete geminigawat na wet. And that means that white buffalo brings that sweetgrass, and our sweetgrasses are braided into three parts: our past, our present, and our future. Also, na wete wapski ming na wete gamatibit na wete ki wait nang ki gamatibit na we. Mishkiki na wete geminigawat na wete ki zet na wete. And that white wolf in the northern doorway, he brings cedar for protection. And that cedar grows right across Canada to protect our families where we come from. And Mishki Mamakwe, we ain't able to go chiminanda and we sit down meet Jim Noe. And Mother Earth is going to provide us the lunch here today and the water we're going to drink here today. And I would say Chimigwes for all that. And thank you for all of us coming together here for the 24 Canada We Want conference. Miigwech, everyone. Yeah, I'll have a seat now. Thank you.
Thank you, Elder Bernard and Grandmother Kate, for opening us up in a good way. Now we would like to introduce you to Sharif Mahdi, CEO of the Students' Commission of Canada, who will say a few words.
Hello, Canada We Want Youth Movement supporters. We are so grateful to have all of you in the room today. We also want to give a warm Canada We Want welcome to all of those tuning in virtually from across Canada. Please cheer so they can hear from all of you. For the past week, young people from Indigenous nations and from every province and territory have been working in partnership with adult allies and SCC facilitators to build the Canada they want. Today, you will get the opportunity to hear their recommendations for a better country on topics they chose to explore this week: substance misuse, healthy relationships, identity, the environment, digital safety, and healthy relationships. I said that twice. We also may not have been sleeping very much this past week. The Students' Commission of Canada exists to put youth voice into action. The recommendations shared at youth conferences like this drive all of our actions throughout the year. We also could not achieve our social purpose and host conferences like this without support from many of the folks who are in the room today. We are grateful that the Government of Canada has made it possible for folks from every province and territory to be here by providing travel funds for the youth participants and adult allies. We are also tremendously grateful that since 2018, RBC has supported the Students' Commission of Canada to achieve our social purpose by funding the year-long activities that make the Canada we want a truly national movement. RBC's support has made it possible for us to host showcase events like today and have beautiful backdrops like this. Today you will also hear on how we at the Students' Commission of Canada have moved forward on previous Canada We Want recommendations. For the first time, we will be sharing back highlights from previous conferences, and we'll be showcasing on how we have been working to combat misinformation, to address social polarization, and to address the opioid crisis. I won't give it all away, but I did want to share a few additional highlights of some of the tremendous impacts we've had this past year. Since 2020, the Students' Commission of Canada's Canada We Want facilitator roster, you're in the room, where are you? Roster. Funded in part by RBC, has been working to promote more inclusion in the environmental movement so that all communities can be supported to transition to a greener economy. You'll get a sneak peek in the recommendations today of what they've been working on. I'm very proud to announce as well that the Students' Commission of Canada's Centre of Excellence for Youth Engagement, a network of youth-serving organizations, policymakers, and academics, advancing and sharing research about the best ways to run effective youth programs, has validated the SCC's core values, the 4 pillars, respect, listen, understand, communicate, to be published in a Canadian Scholar textbook for child and youth care workers, has validated this framework as an anti-oppressive framework. These values and processes are embedded in all of SCC's programs and projects and help create conditions that foster equitable prosperity and reduce inequalities across Canada. Et en 2022, les jeunes participants et employés francophones ont demandé qu'on explore un nom plus inclusif pour la commission des étudiants et je veux maintenant inviter Florence Bergeron pour annoncer un changement basé dans cette voie.
Rebonjour, Florence. Je suis directrice adjointe à la mobilisation des connaissances à la Commission des étudiants. Et alors que la langue française s'adapte pour changer avec les changements sociétaires dont on fait face, il est important pour nous d'adresser la question de notre nom francophone. 150 jeunes se sont prononcés sur le sujet et nous ont proposé une alternative qui a été ensuite proposée à notre conseil d'administration et acceptée. C'est avec un grand plaisir aujourd'hui que je vous annonce qu'à partir de maintenant, nous nous appellerons la Commission des élèves du Canada.
So I will translate for once for Flo. We are happy and thrilled to announce that based on the voices of 150 Francophone youth who asked us to ensure that the way that we present ourselves in our name be more inclusive, that we will be changing our French name from les étudiants to les élèves, to be more reflective of the way the French language is moving and to make it more inclusive. So big congratulations on that change. And finally, I am very excited to share that thanks again to RBC's support of both the Canada We Want youth movement and the Take Our Kids to Work career exploration program, we have grown our direct reach as an organization from 50,000 youth in 2018 to now over 500,000 youth across the country. Canada We Want and Take Our Kids to Work equip youth to develop the critical 21st century skills that are needed to thrive in the economy: initiative, curiosity, critical thinking, and interpersonal social skills. We know, though, that our work is not finished. And so today we are calling all of you in the room and on the Zoom to respect what young people are bringing forward, to listen deeply to what they have to say, so you can understand where they are coming from and what they are calling for. We ask all of you to work with us to communicate these invaluable recommendations so that we can build the Canada we want, a place where young people are heard, where they are valued, and where their ideas for improving themselves, their peers, and their communities are put into action. Thank you.
During today's showcase, representatives from each of the 6 Canada We Want theme team will share their insight, recommendation, and initiative developed over the conference. From tackling substance use and addiction to advocating for gender diversity rights, each team has worked tirelessly to address pressing societal issues and envision a brighter future for all.
Without further ado, we would like to introduce our first team to the stage. Welcome to the stage, Under Pressure, Substance Use and Addiction. A team who aim to break stigmas, foster empathy, and create an environment where compassionate dialogue prevails, providing a foundation for effective peer support and community-driven solutions to substance-related challenges.
Hi everyone, I'm Jake, I'm from Quebec.
Agathe de Québec. Bonjour, je m'appelle May de Colombie-Britannique.
And my name is Winner and I'm from Ontario.
Nous sommes dans le groupe d'addiction et substances et nous allons vous présenter nos recommandations sur un point individuel, social et systémique.
We are in the Under Pressure Substance Abuse and Addictions group and will present our recommendations on the individual, social, and systemic levels.
Levez la main si vous-même ou un de vos proches ont été impactés par la dépendance.
Raise your hand if yourself or someone you know has been impacted by addiction.
Un Canadien sur 5 seront atteints de dépendance au cours de leur vie.
1 out of 5 Canadians will qualify as addicts at one point in their lifetime.
Il est nécessaire de discuter sur comment s'approcher à ce problème.
It is imperative that we discuss how to approach this problem.
Le langage utilisé envers de la dépendance et ses survivants est souvent stigmatisé et péjoratif. Celui-ci empêche ceux qui souffrent à trouver de l'aide. Ce langage donne un sentiment de déshumanisation. Il est important de garder en tête une vue globale d'une personne sans les étiquettes. Il est important de considérer tous les facteurs ainsi que les causes pour mener à la dépendance.
The language used in regard to addiction is often stigmatized and pejorative. This keeps people from seeking help. It dehumanizes people suffering from addiction. It is important to keep a global view in mind of the person and not label or condemn them as an addict, and always consider the factors and root causes that led them to addiction.
Vous souvenez-vous de la dernière fois où vous êtes allé à une 5 à 7 sans boire de l'alcool? Souvent, les gens tombent dans la dépendance parce qu'ils n'ont pas d'alternative sobre. C'est à nous de fournir les opportunités de s'amuser et s'exprimer sans consommer. On peut s'amuser à jeunes.
Can you remember the last time you went to a party without drinking? Often people fall into addiction for lack of better alternatives and creative outlets. It is up to all of us to provide safe spaces and opportunities to enjoy and express themselves without the use of substances. Let's have fun sober for a change.
Levez la main si vous-même ou un de vos proches ont souffert d'une surdose.
Raise your hand if yourself or someone you know has suffered an overdose.
Et maintenant, levez la main si vous avez perdu un proche à une overdose.
Now raise your hand if you have lost someone to an overdose.
22 Canadiens meurent de surdose chaque jour.
22 Canadians die from overdose every day.
Souvent, lors d'une surdose, la personne est apportée à l'hôpital seulement pour le laisser partir après une brève observation, sans recevoir aucune aide supplémentaire. Les conséquences d'une surdose peuvent se présenter sous plusieurs formes, commençant par des problèmes de foie, des psychoses et même un arrêt cardiaque. Nous désirons mettre en place un programme similaire à celui de la première tentative de suicide, qui serait présent dès la première surdose chez un individu. Ce programme permettrait un suivi avec un intervenant en dépendance ainsi que des groupes de support pour des gens en désintox ou ceux à l'hôpital en rétablissement de première surdose. Ce programme rencontrerait des participants, peu importe leur cheminement.
So, more often than not, people who overdose are brought to a hospital only to be released after a brief observation period, without receiving any further support. Overdose can come in many forms, from liver failure to psychosis to cardiac arrest. We want to implement a first overdose recovery program similar to programs already in place for first suicide attempts. This program would provide access to follow-ups with an addictions counselor and support groups to people in detox centers or hospitals recovering from their first overdose. The program would meet its participants wherever they are on their journey to recovery.
Le Canada que nous souhaitons est un endroit où nous pouvons parler librement des abus de substances et de la dépendance sans jugement en ayant des ressources accessibles, de la compassion et de l'accompagnement.
The Canada we want is a place where we can speak openly about addiction and substance misuse without judgment and be offered support, compassion, and guidance.
We'll leave it that way. Can go further down. Thank you, Under Pressure. What a good way to start the showcase. Our next theme, beyond the physical structure, delve into the social dimension of housing, what it truly means to have a safe and nurturing home. Together, they aim to build a foundation where people have access to not just a house, but secure and supportive home. Please welcome the next team, Sheltering Hope, Housing Crisis, a Place to Call Home.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Nick, je viens du Québec.
Good morning, my name is Keaton and I'm from Ontario.
Alex, Saskatchewan.
Hello, my name is Arshia. I am from British Columbia.
Hi, my name is Emily and I'm from Prince Edward Island.
Nous représentons l'équipe Espoir sans-abri et au cours des derniers jours, nous avons travaillé à développer des recommandations dans 5 domaines principaux. Le logement de base, le soutien au logement autochtone, le financement gouvernemental, les ressources en matière de logement pour nouveaux arrivants et la transition des jeunes hors des foyers d'accueil.
We are representing the Sharing Hope team. Over the past few days, we have worked to develop recommendations in 5 focus areas: basic housing, Indigenous housing support, government funding and sustainability, housing resources for newcomers, and transitioning youth out of foster care.
Notre première priorité est le logement de base. C'est la base de vie épanouissante. Nous recommandons de développer des logements sans obstacles Par exemple, la communauté de petites maisons gérées par 12 Neighbors au Nouveau-Brunswick, qui offre des petites maisons à prix abordable. Ils ont également des programmes de soutien qui aident les gens à développer des nouvelles compétences et à surmonter les obstacles qu'ils peuvent rencontrer.
Our first priority is basic housing. Without it, all aspects of life fail to thrive. Our recommendation is to develop barrier-free housing. For example, the tiny home community run by the organization 12 Neighbors in New Brunswick. Their mission is to provide independent tiny homes as affordable units. They also have support programs that help people develop new skills and overcome barriers they may encounter.
En 2021, on a observé une surreprésentation des Autochtones dans les centres d'hébergement d'itinérance. Sur la base de ces statistiques, nous demandons des logements de transition respectueux et adaptés à la culture, ainsi que des options de location subventionnées.
As of 2021, we could observe an overrepresentation of Indigenous people in shelters. Based on the statistic, we are calling for culturally focused and respectful transitional housing support as well as subsidized rental options.
Notre troisième priorité concerne la manière dont le gouvernement attribue les fonds et l'impact direct de ses décisions sur les citoyens. Nous suggérons de prendre en compte le contexte unique de chaque communauté afin de développer des stratégies adaptées. De plus, nous demandons la redistribution des fonds au profit du public afin de soutenir les services qui se concentrent sur le logement.
Our third priority is how the government allocates funds and how it directly impacts people in Canada. We suggest community-based strategies, specifically on obtaining perspectives and transparency in communities. Also, we're calling for reallocation of funds in order to support people and services with focus on housing.
À l'heure actuelle, les nouveaux arrivants au Canada n'ont pas de ressources dont ils ont besoin. Donc, nous recommandons d'investir dans les programmes d'aide aux immigrants et aux réfugiés afin de remédier au manque permanent de soutien au logement pour les nouveaux arrivants.
Currently, newcomers in Canada are not being provided with the resources they need. Considering this, we recommend investing in new and existing immigrant and refugee support programs that address the ongoing lack of housing support for newcomers.
Les jeunes placés en famille d'accueil courent un plus grand risque de devenir sans-abri en raison d'un manque de soutien après leur sortie du système. C'est pourquoi nous suggérons d'investir et développer davantage des programmes qui permettent aux jeunes d'acquérir les compétences de base nécessaires pour vivre d'une manière autonome.
Youth in foster care are at a greater risk of homelessness due to a lack of support after aging out of the system. As a result of this, we suggest investing in and developing more programs that enable the development of basic life skills for youth to live independently.
Le Canada que nous souhaitons fait de toutes ces questions des priorités et au profit des personnes sans domicile. En mettant en place ces mesures de soutien, nous pouvons aider les personnes qui vivent chercher refuge au Canada et nos propres résidents à s'épanouir dans notre pays.
The Canada we want has all of these issues as priorities set in stone for the benefit of people who may be experiencing homelessness. By having these supports in place, we can help people who come to Canada as a safe haven and our own residents to thrive in our country. Thank you et merci.
Thank you, Sheltering Hope. Between these presentations of work accomplished this week by the youth from coast to coast to coast that you see before you, we also want to introduce you to the Canada We Want year-round movement. It answers the so what question: how do we take youth voice that we hear at these annual showcases and move it into multi-year action projects? How does change happen? Each year, post-conference, teams group these multiple, sometimes seemingly distinct ideas generated in our intense 4-day conference experience into a staggering and staggered and staggering series of actionable projects. After conference, together, we practically assess what can be achieved short term, medium term, and then with our four pillars and our vision of the Canada we want firmly fixed, we ideally move over time to long-term sustainable change.
This year, we thought we'd be giving you some insight into the post-showcase process and brief glimpse into achievement arising from previous showcases. It's a preview into into how we put what we hear and generate real change and benefit in the years and years to come. Our first shareback, Over the Influence, highlights progress advancing youth recommendation related to substance use, particularly related to the opioid crisis.
Au CQNS, les jeunes ont déclaré augmenter les dépenses consacrées à la prévention plutôt qu'à l'application de la loi et aux services correctionnels. Les programmes communautaires ont une influence importante sur nos vies. Nous avons besoin d'un dialogue ouvert sur les opioïdes dans davantage d'espace dans les écoles, les organisations communautaires et les foyers. La CDE apporte son soutien à 32 jeunes influenceurs. Des espaces plus sûrs pour un dialogue ouvert et l'éducation. Un soutien pour modifier leur propre comportement, comme ils l'entendent, un soutien pour les aider à aider leurs amis et leurs pairs, la possibilité de sensibiliser les décideurs adultes à ce qui fonctionne en matière de prévention de la consommation de substances psychoactives en amont.
Over the Influence presents Equipping the Back Pocket. If you go and dig around back there, most of us might pull out some gum, a tissue, some headphones, maybe even a turkey leg. While those things may have their uses, Over the Influence has added one more thing to the back pocket toolkit. You may be wondering what I mean by that. OTI has created a space where youth come, learn about opioids, but also talk, share, have fun, and learn through informal conversation. Armed with confidence, knowledge, and motivational conversation skills, youth pull the right information at the right time out of their back pockets to support their friends. And most importantly, they're sharing with adults in formal settings how to equip their own back pockets, policies, and programs related to substance use with the right messages in the right ways to address the crisis.
Their efforts have included providing workshops on naloxone kits, teaching what they are, how to get one, how to take the fear and uncertainty away from being prepared.
Real talk, getting a naloxone kit can be scary, especially if you don't know the process. But that's why I'm here to experience it for you. We're here in Toronto at Shoppers Drug Mart. Let's go. This is for later. We made it to the pharmacy. What can I do for you?
Hi. I was hoping to get a naloxone kit.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you a patient here?
Not at this Shoppers.
That's okay, no worries.
Okay.
And did you want, this is the nasal one?
Yeah.
You like that one? Perfect. Yeah.
Great.
All yours.
Thank you.
Well, peeps, we secured the naloxone. I was a little bit nervous before, but I honestly feel better now that I have it.
Nos influenceurs influencent le consortium conjoint pan-canadien pour les écoles en santé, l'Agence de la santé publique du Canada et Santé Canada, pour n'en citer que quelques-uns. Our influencers are influencing the Pan-Canadian Joint Consortium on School Health, the Public Health Agency of Canada, and Health Canada, to name a few.
Let's go back to our teams of this year. Please give a round of applause as we welcome to the stage Team Nourish and Flourish. Mind, body, and nutrition, aspiring to create inclusive narratives that empower everyone to make informed and positive choices regarding their bodies and nutrition.
Hi, I'm Gwen, and I'm from BC.
Hi, I'm Emma, and I'm from Prince Edward Island.
Hi, I'm Tegan, and I'm from Thunder Bay.
Québec Askina, James Isaac, Ottawa, Nishnikazon, Anouani Bertutan, Québec Aski, Cachetonio, Danam. Bonjour tout le monde, je m'appelle James Isaac, Ottawa, je viens de la communauté Atikamekw de Manouane, au Québec. Oh. Cette semaine, notre équipe thématique Nourrir pour s'épanouir a discuté de l'image corporelle et de la nutrition. Nous avons exploré les stigmas et les normes de genre autour de l'image corporelle, étudié les pressions sociétales et reconnu les diverses cultures qui affectent nos idées et nos choix alimentaires.
This week, our theme, Team Nourish and Flourish, has been talking about body image and nutrition. We explored stigmas and gender norms around body image, dissected societal pressures, and acknowledged the diverse cultures that shape our ideas and choices around food and nutrition.
Le premier problème que nous avons identifié est la désinformation généralisée autour de la nutrition. À la fois dans les médias et dans les étiquettes des produits alimentaires. En 2014, la ministre de Santé menait une série de consultations avec les parents sur les manières d'améliorer la présentation des informations nutritionnelles sur les étiquettes des produits alimentaires. Malheureusement, ces informations n'ont pas été mises à jour depuis 10 ans et elles ont seulement consulté les adultes.
The first issue that we identified is that there's a widespread disinformation around food and nutrition, both in the media and on food labels. In 2014, the Minister of Health read a series of consultations with parents on how to improve the way nutritional information is presented on food labels. Unfortunately, it hasn't been updated in 10 years, and they only consulted adults.
Donc, notre première recommandation est de rendre les étiquettes nutritionnelles plus claires et donner aux jeunes les connaissances et avantages des effets que chaque macronutriment. Les jeunes disposent ainsi des connaissances nécessaires pour démystifier la désinformation. Cela permet de prendre des décisions éclairées sur les choix alimentaires qu'ils peuvent maintenir et transmettre aux générations futures afin de créer un Canada plus sain.
Regarding that, our first recommendation is embedding youth voice into the design of food labels and make them clear to give youth the knowledge on the benefits and effects of each micronutrient. This gives youth the knowledge to debunk disinformation, hence youth can make informed decisions about their food choices that can sustain and pass on to future generations to create a healthier Canada.
Le deuxième problème que nous avons identifié en partageant les histoires personnelles est que les jeunes de tous âges et de toute identité sexuelle révèlent qu'ils ont une mauvaise relation avec la nourriture et qu'ils aimeraient avoir un peu plus de soutien.
The second issue that we identified through sharing personal stories is that youth of all ages and gender identities are disclosing that they have a poor relationship with food and would like some more support.
C'est alors que nous avons eu l'idée de proposer une application en partenariat avec Jeunesse Jucoute appelée Santé Jeunesse qui offre une collection complète de ressources. L'application permettra aux jeunes de communiquer anonymement avec des professionnels de la santé et comprendrait des idées de repas nutritifs pour toutes les cultures et de tous les besoins alimentaires. Venez nous voir à notre table pour plus d'informations et un prototype d'application.
This is when we came up with the idea to propose an app partnering with Kids Help Phone called Kids Health Phone that offers a comprehensive collection of resources. The app will allow youth to communicate anonymously with healthcare professionals and other nutritious meals of all cultures and dietary needs. Come see our table for more information and an app prototype.
Le Canada, que nous souhaitons ouvrir en faveur d'une santé mentale positive, célèbre toutes les cultures et types de corps et est ouvert à tout, partout, à tout moment en Canada.
The Canada we want is working towards positive mental health, celebrating all cultures and body types, and is inclusive to anyone, anywhere, anytime. Thank you, merci.
Got the secret, but I'm gonna try to. Yes! Thank you. Thank you for sharing your incredible insight, Nourish and Flourish. Our next team, the Digital Defender, want to create a secure online environment where individuals can express themselves authentically while understanding the importance of mindful and respectful engagement in the virtual world. We would now like to welcome the Digital Defender, Online Safety and Social Polarization on stage.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Anahita, je suis de Vancouver, en Colombie-Britannique, et aujourd'hui, je suis ici pour représenter l'équipe Défense digitale et pour parler de l'importance de la sécurité en ligne, spécialement pour les jeunes enfants.
Hello, my name is Ryder. I'm from New Brunswick.
Hello, my name is Donovan, and I'm from the Northwest Territories.
We represent the Digital Defenders, and today we'll be talking about online safety and how to help keep children safe online.
Notre objectif est de rendre les espaces en ligne plus sûrs pour le bien-être physique et mental des jeunes aujourd'hui et des générations futures.
Our goal is to make online spaces safer for physical and mental well-being of youth.
Les trois façons dont nous voulions procéder sont de créer des notifications de désintoxication sur les plateformes de médias sociaux, protéger la vie privée des jeunes enfants et d'informer les jeunes sur la façon de repérer les fausses informations.
The 3 ways we wanted to propose to approach this issue is to create detox notifications on social media platforms, protect the privacy of young children, and to inform youth about false information and how to spot it.
La première chose que nous recommandons aux organisations est de mettre en œuvre des notifications de désintoxication dans les applications de réseaux sociaux. Pour certains jeunes, les espaces en ligne sont une deuxième maison et il est important qu'ils se sentent en sécurité afin de ne pas aller à l'encontre de la Convention des Nations Unies relative aux droits de l'enfant.
The first thing that we recommend is for organizations to implement detox notifications within social media apps. For some youth, online spaces is a second home, and it's important for those to feel safe, so as not to go against the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child.
La deuxième recommandation que nous aimerions faire est de sensibiliser l'opinion publique à la désinformation et aux stéréotypes sur Internet en mettant l'emphase sur la vérification d'informations en ligne. Que ce soit en vérifiant l'information ou de trouver des signes de crédibilité avant de partager l'information, nous pouvons mettre en place des mesures de précaution afin de combattre la dissémination de fausses informations.
The second recommendation we would like to make is to spread awareness about misinformation and stereotypes on the net by emphasizing the importance of fact-checking before spreading information online. Whether it be verifying information or looking for signs of credibility before sharing information, we can implement precautions to help combat the spread of false news and misinformation.
Une autre recommandation que nous souhaitons faire est de créer des réglementations contre l'utilisation néfaste de l'intelligence artificielle. Le potentiel de l'intelligence artificielle en tant qu'outil ne peut être sous-estimé, mais utilisé de manière négative, il peut potentiellement ruiner la vie des gens. Il est très important de mettre en place des réglementations qui facilitent une utilisation positive et découragent les mauvais acteurs.
Finally, we propose to create regulations against harmful use of artificial intelligence. The potential of artificial intelligence as a tool cannot be understated, but used negatively, it has potential to ruin people's lives. To bring regulations that facilitate positive use but discourage the bad actors is very important.
Vous pouvez dire beaucoup de choses sur Internet, beaucoup de points positifs et beaucoup de points négatifs. Mais la seule chose que vous ne pouvez pas nier, c'est à quel point il est génial de rassembler les gens. Mais surtout pour les gens d'aujourd'hui, l'Internet dans lequel ils ont grandi devient de minute en minute de plus en plus dangereux et peu accueillant à leur égard. Le Canada que nous souhaitons est une où les jeunes déposent un espace sur Internet pour pouvoir s'exprimer et faire entendre les voix. Les jeunes ont besoin de se sentir autonomes, de sentir qu'ils peuvent réellement faire une différence dans le monde. Quel que soit votre âge, votre voix compte, et ils méritent l'opportunité d'approcher les acteurs du changement afin de réaliser les changements qu'ils souhaitent.
At the end of the day, you can say many things about the internet. You can say many positives, you can say many negatives. But the one thing you can't deny is how brilliant it is as a tool to bring people together. But especially for the youth today, the internet that they basically grew up in is becoming more unsafe and more unwelcoming towards them by the day. The Canada we want is one where youth have a space on the internet to be able to express themselves and be heard. Youth need to feel empowered, to feel that they can actually make a difference in the world. No matter how old you are, your voice matters. And youth deserve the opportunity to approach change makers in order to make the change they actually wish for. And youth deserve the opportunity to approach change makers in order to make the change they wish for actually happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Digital Defenders. We still have some more teams ready to present their recommendations. It is now time for the World Wellness to share their thoughts. Welcome to the stage, World Wellness, Environment and Mental Health, a team focused on developing initiatives that are not only protect the planet, but also consider the economic realities faced by diverse communities, creating a more inclusive and sustainable future.
Bonjour tout le monde, je m'appelle Sydney, mes pronoms sont elles et elles, et je viens des territoires traditionnels de Kwanadan et Tonquachan, Whitehorse, Yukon.
Hello, my name is Ella, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm from Golden, BC. Hej, mitt namn är Ella och jag är från Golden, BC.
Hello, my name is Jaden. My pronouns are he, him. I'm from Dawson City, Yukon. Kamusta ako si Jaden at ako ay mula sa Dawson City, Yukon.
Tansé, Nasikas Nigoses, Nenahiwan. Bonjour, mon nom est Nikosis et je viens de Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Nous sommes un groupe de bien-être du monde composé de 20 jeunes divers de 7 provinces et territoires, parlant 12 langues et comprenant 10 jeunes autochtones. Nous avons discuté de l'importance de l'environnement et de son impact sur notre bien-être.
We are the World Wellness Group of 20 diverse youth across 7 provinces and territories, speaking 12 languages and including 10 Indigenous youth. During our time, we discussed the importance of the environment and its impact on our well-being.
L'anxiété suscitée par les questions urgentes liées aux changements environnementaux est fréquente chez les jeunes de ce pays. Au cours de notre séjour, nous avons pu constater l'importance de se reconnecter à la nature pour faire face à l'éco-anxiété. De plus, nous pensons que les Canadiens devraient avoir accès à la nature de cette manière.
The anxiety around the pressing issue involving environmental change are common among youth in this country. During our time here, we experienced firsthand the importance of reconnecting with nature when dealing with eco-anxiety. Moreover, we believe that all Canadians should have access in nature in this way.
Nous pensons que la sensibilisation, l'éducation et les sources fiables sont des étapes essentielles pour éradiquer la désinformation environnementale. Le processus de recyclage au Canada est inédéquat et doit être réévalué. Pour créer un pays durable, on devrait atténuer notre réalité actuelle. Nous demandons au système éducatif, au gouvernement et aux entreprises de mettre en œuvre des mesures de soutien à l'environnement de manière éthique et active pour la population du Canada.
We believe that awareness, education, and trusted sources are pivotal steps towards eradicating environmental misinformation. The process of recycling in Canada is inadequate and requires reevaluation. We call on systems of education, government, and business to implement measures of support for the environment ethically and actively for the people of Canada. Long-term mitigation towards the processing of material is crucial to the development of a sustainable country.
Nous espérons de créer une meilleure compréhension de la surconsommation grâce à la collecte de sources fiables afin que la population canadienne puisse à son tour être informée sur ce qui peut être considéré comme une consommation durable.
Our hope is to create a better understanding around overconsumption via the collection of trusted sources so the Canadian population can in turn be informed on what is considered sustainable consumption. We recommend the creation of a guide catered to the Canadian citizens to inform on how they can buy sustainable and ethical products.
Pour faire tout ça, nous voulons le faire avec la participation et l'inclusion des communautés autochtones. Pour faire avancer les questions environnementales, nous devons écouter à ceux qui ont protégé les terres et eaux pour des siècles. La participation des communautés autochtones contribuera à la revitalisation des terres et garantira la mise en place des mesures durables.
We want to do this with the input of inclusion of Indigenous communities. In order to move forward to environmental issue, we need to listen to those who have protected the land and water for centuries before. The involvement of Indigenous community will contribute to the revitalization of the land and to ensure sustainable measures are put in place.
Le Canada que nous souhaitons s'attaque à l'anxiété liée aux problèmes environnementaux, donne des moyens aux communautés et s'adapte aux changements durables dans une optique autochtone et inclusive. Nous vous remercions pour votre temps.
The Canada we want addresses anxiety within environmental issues, empowers communities, and adapts to sustainable change through an Indigenous and inclusive lens. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, World Wellness. Our next chair back will feature a special guest, Deputy Grand Chief Bobby Narcisse from the Anishinaabe Aski Nation, which represent 49 First Nation on a territory occupying 2/3 of the landmass of the province of Ontario. An alumnus of the Students' Commission of Canada, Bobby has a particular passion for youth engagement and has worked extensively in community social service and the education field for the past 20 years, including driving van loads of youth participants overnight from Thunder Bay to the SCC conferences. please help us join in welcoming Deputy Grand Chief Bobby Narcisse on stage.
You have to use that picture? No. I'm just joking. Bonjour tout le monde. Je m'appelle Bobby Narcisse. Good morning. My name is Bobby Narcisse. I'm one of the Deputy Grand Chiefs for Anishinaabe Nation. As you heard in the intro, Anishinaabe Nation covers Treaty 5 and Treaty 9 territory in Northern Ontario. And it's my pleasure and honor to be with you all today. And I was very surprised when my mentor, Moffat Makuto here, said that the Students' Commission is gathering. And wow, it's our schedules really worked out perfectly since I'm here also with a lot of our chiefs here in town as well. There's the mining conference that's happening. Also, our family well-being gathering is happening here in Toronto as well. And yes, it was a great opportunity for me to come and see you all today and see that Students' Commission is still doing a lot of the great worthwhile work that's happening, really involving many of our youth in all different areas that really concern us as we're moving ahead as well. One of my portfolios at Anishinaabe Nation as Deputy Grand Chief is I work with youth and youth leadership, among other things like Child and Family Services and various initiatives across Anishinaabe Nation territory which work with children, youth, and families. And many of the work that got me here is actually working, I started my humble beginnings here at the Students' Commission. You know, just getting involved. Looking at ways to how do we better our communities? How do we actually go in and negotiate with all levels of government? And it was here also that we started all that work, whether it be meeting with various ministers or the Prime Minister, or youth do have a voice, and we continue to really push that as well. Especially at Anishinaabe Nation, where our Ishkazik Youth Council just recently met with the Prime Minister last Friday, and basically looking at ways of improving mental health services, improving access to education, employment opportunities across the far north. As you know, many of our communities across the north, we have various degrees of remoteness. Many of our communities are fly-in. 34 of my communities are fly-in communities. And many of our students still have to leave their communities for 9 months of the year to go to high school. So imagine, you're 11 or 12 years old, you're finished your grade 8, and now you have to leave your parents and your folks to still look for an education, to further your education. So we're working with all levels of government to really protect the family circle. Look at ways, innovative ways to really involve many of our youth and to really pursue their education back home as well. A lot of areas still that plague our communities, especially if we want to join in this prosperous new Canada that we really want to be participants in as well and be a part of, is the fact that we're still living in third world conditions. Many of our First Nation communities are still under boil water advisories, lack of housing, lack of infrastructure. And when you think where our communities are situated, many of our First Nation communities are situated in resource-rich land. Like there's gold mines around, there's forestry, and all these different areas that are really impacting our climate as well. Many of our communities at this time rely on winter roads. I don't know if you ever watched that show called Ice Road Truckers, but that really paints a small picture of what reality is in the far north and what our youth are really dealing with too. So our winter road season is shrinking by every year due to climate change, and I think it's very innovative where we need to really have those discussions in terms of what are some alternative forms of resource development and in terms of energy that we all really need to take into consideration moving ahead. So many of our challenges are community-based and require community-based solutions. And we recognize and affirm that Canada is so diverse with languages and various cultures as well. We really want to embrace that, but also at the same time be very respectful of regional processes that need to happen. And many of our youth are really involved in various aspects of the decision-making, especially moving ahead with many of our community initiatives. Our youth council is also involved in various chiefs committees that we have organized, whether it be in health, education, social services, environment. So we know that our youth and up-and-coming leaders have a very important role and very important voice in terms of determining a future that they're going to be inheriting moving ahead. So it's very important that we have that in moving ahead too. I know this is a national gathering. We also organize a national gathering of our own called the National Assembly of Remote Communities. We just met in Edmonton last week. And National Assembly of Remote Communities, its acronym is NARC. Not exactly very good. But yeah, so we had a bunch of NARCs organize ourselves in Edmonton. And NARC members included all those remote communities from northern Ontario, northern Saskatchewan, northern Manitoba, and also Treaty 8 in Alberta actually hosted us as well. So we were able to gather together and look at ways where many times our remote communities in the far north get the short end of the stick in terms of resource development. Many of our youth really have to travel far distances to really access some of the services that are enjoyed by many of our urban brothers and sisters. So we're looking at ways to ensure that access shouldn't be an issue for many of our young people who want to strive and move ahead to really better their careers in this particular area. But I just want to say that it's event like this. I know that we're a diverse nation with diverse culture, diverse languages, and it's important to have events like this where we have an opportunity to really celebrate the diversity which is our country, Canada. And also it's great to have our Indigenous voices here as well in the spirit of reconciliation in terms of how could we move ahead on a path together that is really sustainable for all of us. And I remember my times at Students' Commission, just having gatherings like this and meeting youth from all across the country and whatnot. And they even taught me how to spell my name in a different way with my butt for some reason. I don't know. I don't know if they did. Well, back in the 90s, I don't know, they were a little... I don't think I'll be doing that today, but... yeah, I guess if you were late coming to the thing, they got you up on stage, and, okay, you got to spell your name with your butt. Goes, what? Anyways, yeah, so... Interesting times at Students' Commission, but I think a lot of us have gone through as well to other jobs and other careers as well to really have an opportunity to really continue some of the work that we started way back when. And I'd like to acknowledge Stoney and all of her hard work over the years. Great, thank you so much. Like I said, I wouldn't be here as well without an opportunity to meet other young people from across the country as well, and also continue the very important work that is developing our country here. So with that, I'd like to say Chimigwech. Enjoy the rest of your conference, and thank you so much. Miigwech.
Thank you so much, Bobby. So we are now at our sixth and final team presentation. The next team embarked in a journey exploring how to create a supportive environment where everyone can thrive in their personal growth and interpersonal connection. Please welcome to the stage the team Beyond the Bond, Identities and Healthy Relationships.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Soumya et je viens de Colombie-Britannique.
Hi all, my name is Zoya and I'm from Thunder Bay, Ontario.
Hi everyone, my name is Abby and I'm from Prince Edward Island.
Notre équipe thématique Au-delà du lien a exploré les relations saines. Ces relations peuvent exister au sein d'une culture, d'une communauté ou d'un groupe social et elles jouent un rôle clé dans l'identité personnelle et la santé mentale. Au cours de la semaine écoulée, nous avons formé plusieurs recommandations visant à mieux équiper les jeunes Canadiens pour qu'ils réussissent à établir les relations saines.
Our theme team, Beyond the Bond, has been exploring healthy relationships. These relationships can exist within cultures, communities, or across social groups, and they play a key role in self-identity and mental health. Over the past week, we've come up with several recommendations to better equip Canada's youth to succeed in healthy relationships.
Au cours des discussions de nos équipes thématiques, nous avons souvent parlé de la façon dont les ressources sont allouées aux communautés. Partout au Canada, des jeunes sont aux prises avec des problèmes de santé mentale et nous croyons que pour améliorer les relations avec notre entourage, nous devons d'abord améliorer les relations que nous entretenons avec nous-mêmes. En abaissant la barrière coût élevé des thérapies, les jeunes pourront se sentir en sécurité et confiants dans leur identité.
During our theme team discussions, we often talked about how resources are allocated to communities. Youth all over Canada struggle with mental health, and we believe that in order to better our relationships around us, we must first better the relationships we have with ourselves. By lowering the barrier of high therapy costs, youth will be able to feel secure and confident in their identities.
En rendant la thérapie plus accessible, on aiderait les jeunes à trouver leur voie et devenir des défenseurs convaincus des changements positifs au sein de leur communauté. Ils deviendront non seulement les leaders de demain, mais aussi ceux d'aujourd'hui.
Making therapy more accessible will help youth find their voices and become strong advocates to make positive change in their communities, becoming not only leaders of the future, but of the present.
Les relations saines se construisent dans les communautés stables. Nous demandons des investissements dans les conseils consultatifs de la jeunesse en fait d'amplifier la voix des jeunes et de faire de nos idées une réalité.
Healthy relationships are built in stable communities. We are calling for investments in youth advisory councils to amplify the voices of youth and make our ideas a reality.
Le Canada que nous souhaitons est conçu pour que les jeunes... Les espaces sécurisés permettent aux jeunes de se rapprocher de leur communauté et d'explorer leur identité de manière saine. Les centres de loisirs sont rares dans les communautés, en particulier dans les zones rurales et isolées, de sorte que nombreux jeunes ont tendance à recourir à l'abus de substances. Nous recommandons de créer et de maintenir des espaces à long terme dans lesquels les jeunes peuvent être authentiques et se rapprocher de leur culture.
Safe spaces allow youth to connect with their communities and explore their identities in a healthy way. Recreational centers in communities are scarce, especially in rural and remote areas, so many youth tend to resort to substance misuse. We recommend creating and sustaining long-term spaces in which youth can be their authentic selves and connect with their cultures.
Le Canada que nous souhaitons est conçu pour que les jeunes puissent s'épanouir dans les relations saines et dans toutes les sphères de leur vie.
The Canada we want is set up for youth to thrive in healthy relationships and in all the other spheres of their lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Beyond the Bond. Our final share back looks at progress Canada We Want movement is making on topics that youth have been addressing since before Deputy Grand Chief Bobby Narquise's time at SCC. Exclusion, us versus them, racism. How do we create a Canada that has room for everyone?
Youth call for addressing hatred, call for more opportunities to get to know people different from themselves. Youth develop a digital citizenship workshop and take it on the road. We execute projects to inform policy development for the RCMP, plus Canada's Departments Public Safety and National Defence. Public Safety Canada funds the Hearing Unheard Moments project in 2023 to move the recommendations forward. The objective: design and test a scalable program that helps youth achieve the Canada they want through drama, comedy, and dialogue. Un premier atelier explore les domaines de conflit et génère des ébauches d'idées. Après l'atelier, les jeunes affinent et développent des produits. Par exemple, des sketchs pour les assemblées, des vidéos à partager de diverses manières. Les enseignants, les animateurs de jeunesse et les adultes alliés les soutiennent. Enfin, les jeunes et les adultes trouvent dans leur communauté des moyens de partager leur travail.
Megan, help me with the bags. It was pure chaos at the grocery store. These immigrants.
Dad?
Pushing, yelling like a bunch of animals.
Dad, that's not okay.
Relax.
You're dehumanizing them.
What? Now?
Dehumanizing a group of people means describing them as less than human, which makes it easier to justify cruel and even violent behavior towards them. It can include using animalistic language or imagery that portrays people as monstrous and non-human.
I'm sorry, honey. I should have thought before I spoke.
I'll let you get the rest of the bags from the car so you can really reflect on this.
Thanks, honey. Hey, wait a minute!
Youth and adults work together to refine their ideas. In this animation, youth explore exclusion through language and scapegoating. To justify fear, they've come to take our jobs and increase us versus them echo chambers. Dans une communauté, la moitié de la ville travaille dans l'administration pénitentiaire. L'autre moitié est liée à l'incarcération. Les participants au projet explorent le racisme, l'exclusion, les stéréotypes, les statistiques négatives et la violence qui en résulte. Les jeunes ont déclaré lors d'une discussion: « Il n'y a pas assez de personnes proches qui nous parlent de choses réelles, comme les gangs, la criminalité, les drogues, la prison, la santé physique, la santé mentale et les abus. » In intense discussions, youth had strongly different opinions. The youth explored echo chambers and questioned how we check our beliefs. They created an activity that is now an animation in development. 2 participants searched the supposedly neutral word Seattle on their phones. For one, Seattle has parks, a football team, restaurants. For the other, Seattle is full of drugs, riots and chaos. Le processus de développement développe la pensée critique, la curiosité, l'écoute et les compétences en matière de résolution des conflits. La communication des idées et des sentiments est un objectif commun. L'humour est un point d'entrée. Une fois le produit développé, les jeunes animent des sessions avec leurs produits pour d'autres jeunes et adultes. La recherche valide ce modèle de programme de contagion sociale et d'efficacité de l'influence.
Welcome to a magic trick that's more than just sleight of hand.
This trick is just for Sharif, okay? Which hand is it? This one? Good job. Good job. Lots of people would have said this one. Okay, here. Okay, we'll watch again.
Notice how the paper easily goes over your head? This mirrors how disinformation can be missed if we're not paying attention.
Which hand is it?
Where did you put it? This moment of misdirection is like the echo chambers we find ourselves in online.
This is one of my favorite ones. I've been doing it for a long time. Yeah, so basically, the point of this trick, we'll watch closely. Okay, you got it? Yeah? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I heard it. You did it so... The trick has concluded, but the lessons are clear.
In closing, I invite you to join me in celebrating the achievements and contributions of our young leaders. Together, let us embrace their vision, amplify their voices, and commit to making meaningful actions to address challenges facing our society. To close us off, we are welcoming Mark Beckles to the stage. As VP of Social Impact and Innovation at RBC, Mark leads the strategic execution of RBC's social impact portfolios, including RBC Future Launch, RBC Tech for Nature, and RBC Emerging Artists. Mark also works to cultivate and maintain key relationships across Canada, including policymakers, partners, and stakeholders to advance RBC's community investment priorities. Welcome, Mark.
Good morning. I think it's still morning. Good morning, bonjour, miigwech. Good to see everyone today, and it is my pleasure on behalf of my colleagues here at RBC to welcome you students, you young Canadians, you hope of the future, for all the great work that you have been doing. How do I pull this up? This? Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's nice to be 6 feet tall, you see. So again, thank you for all the great work that you've done this week, and once again, really causing us to pause and reflect on the things that we need to be focused on as civil society and as Canadians to ensure that this is a special country. It is a special country. I just want to start with a couple of things. First and foremost would be to say, on behalf of RBC and on behalf of the RBC Foundation, I want to thank Sharif and the team at the Students' Commission of Canada, for once again convening, one of the most important events on our calendar here at RBC Corporate Citizenship. This is one of the events that I look forward to, and I do lots of events on an annual basis, but this is the one that really causes me to pause and think and reflect on the importance of the work that I have the privilege to lead, along with many of my colleagues who are here in the room today. Now, we don't often get all of our colleagues coming to events like this, so this should tell you how important and how seminal the work that you do actually is, and how it actually influences the work that we do. It is a high point event for me, and if ever I need a reminder of what it is I am, I think, called to do, this event really helps to center me. Powering ideas that balance the needs of people and planet really underscore the importance of the work that you do in our partnership with the Students' Commission of Canada. And the work that is undertaken by you as young people this week really and fiercely aligns to RBC's ambition around accelerating the transition toward a greener economy. Secondly, equipping people with skills for a thriving future. And thirdly, really helping us to drive toward a more equitable prosperity in our communities. And we heard several presentations today that really align to those three pillars of what we now call our purpose framework. And our purpose framework is really how we articulate our commitment to environmental, social, and governance-related issues in order to support our ambition of helping clients thrive and communities prosper across this country. You heard from Under Pressure that 1 in 5 Canadians will qualify as addicts, and that we need to help better manage that situation, and so that there is not this increased issue around stigmatization, and that we've got to really focus on providing young people the kinds of supports, the kind of compassion, and the guidance that they need to ensure that the issue of substance abuse is one that does not consume them. I said last year that my youngest son, at one point in his life, struggled with addiction. So I, as a parent, have firsthand knowledge and understanding of the reality of substance abuse. And I still remember that one day walking into Shoppers Drug Mart, because it was a very poignant moment for me, if I'm to be completely honest, where we walked in, my wife and I, and the pharmacist just actually handed us a naloxone kit. without even understanding or knowing our family situation. So that moment is a relevant, an important moment for me. But I'm thankful today that our son has been able to overcome that challenge. And he doesn't mind me telling you that. I'm not outing him. He's very public about his addiction. So I just share that with you. Sheltering home, a place to call home. The importance of access to basic housing, the needs of Indigenous communities around the country in terms of housing supports that they need, support for newcomers, community-based housing supports, and more particularly the housing supports that youth who are transitioning from foster care need. Oftentimes when we think about the housing crisis, we think of it in a sort of a monolithic or one-dimensional way, but it actually translates very differently depending on how you identify and where you live across this country. And it is important that we really take a more granular and strategic approach to how we solve the issue of housing. Elvis, we've got our work cut out for us, I think. And then we heard from the group Nourish and Flourish. It is true that too often we don't have not nearly enough information on nutrition labels, and the way that they're designed in some respects are not designed to better inform, but in some respects to cause us to consume as we currently do, and that leads to all kinds of issues, whether around our health or stigmatization of our bodies. There is a link between nutrition labels and the kinds of food that people eat or have access to. And so I like the notion of really embedding the voice of youth in the design and the creation of food labels to make sure that there is better understanding and awareness, and the idea of partnering with Kids Help Phone. I love that idea, partnering with Kids Help Phone so that young people can actually call and get nutritional information on their food is one that I think we need to give some real thought to. Digital Defender, and you talked about online safety and social polarization, and how this can actually lead to harm, both physical and emotional harm, if online spaces are not increasingly protected. The concept of detox notifications I like because that is also about helping us to understand not just how often we are online, but the kinds of information that we are consuming online and the extent to which it can be actually harmful to our well-being. The idea of creating regulations against the use of harmful AI is important, and really sort of encouraging. While we encourage the positive use of AI, it is important that we understand how to discourage and to debunk the use of negative AI. And the one point that I made to myself is this, is that when young people say that the internet is dangerous, adults need to listen. When you are telling us that the internet is dangerous, we have an obligation to listen. World Wellness talked about the environment and mental health, and the extent to which the climate crisis is creating real eco-anxiety. And you don't have to be older like me to really appreciate the extent to which our climate is changing. And I think this winter, regardless of where you live across this country, this winter is proof positive of the fact that things are changing. I don't think I've ever gone through the month of February with so little snow on the ground and it being so warm. We're breaking all kinds of records in terms of what our weather looks like. But I know that somehow, somewhere, that is detrimental to the health of the climate, and we absolutely need to do something about it. And then we heard from Deputy Grand Chief Bobby Narcisse. I am still struck with being able to write one's name with one's backside. Sounds like fun days back in the day. But thank you so much for all the work that you did in the early days of when you were with the Students' Commission. And I'd like to think that Deputy Grand Chief Narcisse, you see this gathering today as part of your legacy and contribution to helping our communities prosper and really creating this pan-Canadian engagement for us. And then finally, we heard from beyond the bond and this notion of identities and healthy relationships. We do need to think about how we allocate resources across our communities so that increasingly there are safe spaces for youth. In fact, I would say all generations to gather and to ensure that they feel good about their identities and their cultures and that they can celebrate freely and openly in safe spaces. The internet and social communities won't solve the need and the need for human interaction. But even as we interact, we need to know that we can interact in places and spaces that are healthy. We know that when we are healthy, our communities are healthy, and that we all thrive. And so, I would just leave you with one last thought. And I think it is really emblematic of what it is you at the Students' Commission do. I'll leave you with this quote. Tell me, and I forget. Teach me, and I listen. Involve me, and I learn. What you have done this past week, culminating today, is you've involved people. And because you've involved people in this sort of pan-Canadian conversation, we are all learning. I can tell you that the team that are here today are taking away much of what you have talked about, and it will influence and inform our path forward at RBC in terms of how we bring our ambitions to life in supporting the communities that we do across Canada. So with that, I'm going to say thank you and congratulations once again. This is my, I think, 6th Canada We Want Day, and I would not want to be anywhere else other than where I am right now. So thank you.
Thank you again, Mark. Now we end the presentation portion of this event. I want to thank all the youth who have been contributing their voice during the last few days, in particular those who have courageously came on stage today. I also want to thank all the adults, partners, and stakeholders in the room who took the time to listen to the strong voice of young Canadian. Thank you for joining us for the Canada We Want Showcase of 2024.
We will take a break for lunch next, during which we have the privilege of musician Zen Soul performing. RBC music artist Zen Soul is a Juno-nominated R&B artist from Brampton, touching on intimate topics of love and self-love. Zen Soul has created a nostalgic yet modern and soulful sound that she has been curating since the age of 11. Zen Soul's consistency and drive has allowed her to produce 6 EPs since 2018, and her newest EP, Fantasy, released in November 2023. She continues telling her story, aiming to empower music lovers everywhere, and invites you to join her on her journey. As we break for lunch now, enjoy the performance and bon appetit.
Seeing from the outside, something make me feel right. Honey, you be on my